I've always been skeptical of ghost stories and urban legends. That is, until last week. Now, I'm not so sure anymore. It started innocently enough. I was home alone, scrolling through my phone when I came across an article about an old Victorian house that had been converted into apartments. The building had a reputation for strange occurrences, but what caught my eye was the mention of a peculiar mirror in one of the units. Curiosity got the better of me. I live in that very building, and I have a similar antique mirror in my bathroom. As I read on, a chill ran down my spine. The article described an eerie phenomenon where, if you stared into the mirror long enough in complete darkness, you might see something else. I laughed it off at first, but as night fell and the apartment grew quiet, that mirror seemed to call to me. The logical part of my brain said it was nonsense, but another part, well, it wondered. With a mix of excitement and apprehension, I decided to try it out. I entered the bathroom, flicked off the lights, and stood before the mirror. At first, I could barely make out my own reflection in the darkness. But as my eyes adjusted, I began to see the faint outline of my face. Minutes passed, and nothing happened. I was about to give up when I noticed something odd. Was it just my imagination, or did the air feel heavier? The silence in the room seemed to press against my ears, making them ring slightly. I leaned closer to the mirror, squinting to see better. That's when I heard it. A soft, almost imperceptible whisper. I couldn't make out the words, but it sounded like it was coming from behind the mirror. My heart began to race. I told myself it was just the pipes or the wind, but deep down, I knew it wasn't. The whisper grew slightly louder, and I could have sworn I saw movement in the mirror that didn't match my own. Suddenly, a cold breeze brushed against the back of my neck. I spun around, but the bathroom door was still closed. When I turned back to the mirror, I froze. For a split second, I saw a face that wasn't mine staring back at me. It was gone in an instant, but the image burned itself into my mind. Pale, gaunt, with eyes that seemed to glow in the darkness. I stumbled out of the bathroom, my heart pounding. I spent the rest of the night with all the lights on, jumping at every creak and groan of the old building. It's been a week now, and I've covered up that mirror. But sometimes late at night, I still hear that whisper. And when I catch a glimpse of my reflection in other surfaces, windows, the TV screen, even my phone, I can't shake the feeling that something is watching me from the other side. I'm moving out next week. I don't know if what I experienced was real or just my imagination running wild. But one thing's for certain, I'll never look at mirrors the same way again. The abandoned apartment building looms before me, a decaying monolith against the twilight sky. I shiver, not just from the autumn chill, but from the weight of the dare that brought me here. My friends' voices echo in my mind, urging me to knock on the infamous door on the 13th floor. As I step inside, the musty air envelops me like a shroud. My footsteps echo through the empty lobby, each sound amplified in the eerie silence. The elevator is out of order, forcing me to take the stairs. With each floor I climb, the stairwell grows darker, the air thicker. By the time I reach the 13th floor, my heart is pounding, and not just from the exertion. The hallway stretches before me, a corridor of shadows punctuated by slivers of moonlight from cracked windows. At the end stands the door, unremarkable, yet somehow menacing in its ordinariness. I approach slowly, my feet feeling heavier with each step. The floorboards creak beneath me, the sound seeming to reverberate through the entire building. As I near the door, the temperature drops noticeably. My breath comes out in visible puffs despite the warmth of the night outside. Standing before the door, I raise my hand to knock. The first two knocks echo loudly in the silent hallway. I wait, my heart racing. Nothing happens. Relief washes over me, but it's short-lived. The dare isn't complete until I knock a third time. With trembling fingers, I knock once more. The sound seems to hang in the air, lingering unnaturally. For a moment, there's only silence. Then I hear it, a soft, deliberate knock from the other side of the door. My blood runs cold. I want to run, but I'm frozen in place. The doorknob begins to turn, slowly, agonizingly. I finally find the strength to move, turning and sprinting down the hallway. I don't look back, even as I hear the creak of the door opening behind me. I don't remember how I got home. The next thing I know, I'm in my bed, drenched in sweat, the first light of dawn peeking through my curtains. I try to convince myself it was all a dream, a product of an overactive imagination. But as I lie there, trying to calm my racing heart, I hear something that makes my blood run cold. 2 soft, deliberate knocks on my bedroom door. And I know with a certainty that chills me to my core that if I don't answer, there will be a 3rd knock. And this time, I won't be able to run away. I've always been fascinated by the unknown, but I never thought I'd find myself here, alone in my dimly lit apartment, about to attempt a ritual I'd only read about online. The whisper game, they called it. Simple enough. Light a candle, turn off all other lights, and whisper your deepest desire into the darkness. What could go wrong? As I struck the match, the scratch of phosphorus seemed unnaturally loud in the silence. The flame caught, and I lit the solitary candle on my coffee table. Its warm glow barely penetrated the shadows that clung to the corners of the room. I took a deep breath, trying to calm my racing heart. I want to know what's out there, I whispered, feeling foolish and exhilarated at the same time. At first, nothing happened. The candle flame danced gently, casting flickering shadows on the walls. I almost laughed at myself for being so tense. But then, I noticed something odd. The shadows seemed to be moving independently of the candle's light, stretching and contracting like living things. A chill ran down my spine as I realized the temperature in the room had dropped significantly. My breath came out in small, visible puffs. The silence grew heavier, pressing against my ears until I could hear the blood rushing through my veins. That's when I heard it. A faint whisper, so quiet I thought I might have imagined it. But it came again, a little louder this time. I couldn't make out the words, but the sound seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. The candle flame began to flicker violently, threatening to go out. Panic gripped me as I remembered the warning. Never let the flame die. I cupped my hands around it, trying to shield it from an unfelt draft. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, a cacophony of unintelligible voices that seemed to be closing in on me. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw something move. A dark shape, more solid than a shadow, slithered across the floor towards me. I wanted to scream, to run, but I was frozen in place, my eyes locked on the struggling candle flame. The shape rose up, towering over me. I could feel its presence, cold and ancient, reaching out with tendrils of darkness. The whispers became a roar, and I could finally understand one word repeated over and over. Mine. Just as I felt icy fingers brush against my cheek, the candle flame surged back to life, burning bright and strong. The dark shape recoiled, the whispers faded, and warmth flooded back into the room. I sat there, shaking, for what felt like hours. When I finally found the courage to move, I blew out the candle and turned on every light in my apartment. But even in the brightness, I couldn't shake the feeling that something had changed. The shadows seemed deeper, the silence more expectant. As I write this, I can't help but wonder, did I really banish whatever it was, or did I just give it a way in? Sometimes when I'm alone in the dark, I swear I can still hear that whisper calling out to me, and I'm terrified that one day I might answer.
Thanks for joining us in the shadows tonight. If you enjoyed these chilling tales, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more spine-tingling stories every week. Have you got a story of your own? Share it in the comments below. We love hearing from you. And remember, the darkness holds many secrets. Are you brave enough to uncover them? Until next time, keep your lights on and your doors locked. Sweet nightmares.